Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness, a magnificent Monday here in Connecticut. Cold, man. Cold. I mean, it is mid-January in the Northeast, so, things like that happen. But, I'm back from Maine, and the weather did not cooperate whatsoever up in Maine. It got a little weird, but that's not what you're here for, is it? So, what you are here for is to honk a little bit. You saw the thumbnail. 4 days later. Now, for many of you, I've done this before a lot. Okay, and my whole point is, we'll get to my whole point later. But I've not played a note since the last video. So, I have done some spit buzzing. And I have done some SFE a lot over the last 4 days. So, we'll see what we got. All right? Anyway, hellacious double C's, a little Haydn trumpet concerto, and have not played in 4+ days. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? Anyway, are you eating and drinking your fruits and vegetables? Anyway, here's the deal. That just defies all conventional wisdom. Now, if I had to do, now let me say this. It was not like I had practiced those 4 days. It's not. The tone, power, range, and endurance is there, untouched. It's always there, no matter how much time I take off. The coordination between the tongue, the fingers, the lips, and everything is a little off. Okay? That is what you practice for. Okay? Now, if I had to perform the Haydn concerto tonight with a piano, an orchestra, whatever, I could absolutely do it. I would not have no problem thinking I'm going to crash, whatever. What I would be a little concerned with is the articulations. Would they pop? And again, the coordination between the fingers, the tongues, the lips, and whatnot. That isn't quite right. Okay? Now, if I was playing the Haydn trumpet concerto tonight, I would not take 4 days off. Okay? And those articulations and coordinations that I'm just talking about would be fine. Okay? Now, at this point, in my career, I do not find the Haydn trumpet concerto all that demanding. Okay? If I had something that I would consider demanding, the Prelude to Parsifal, maybe something a little more technical, say Carnival of Venice, Petrushka. That I would have some sleepless nights if I took 4 days off. No question about it. And I've said a zillion times on this channel, that is what you practice for. That is what the hours and hours and hours for. That is what you go Doc Severinsen about. It's not to build chops. The hours do not build chops. I just proved it. The chops are there whether you practice or not. But the ability to take those chops and adapt it to each trumpet and all your literature that you have to do and not clam notes, that is where the practice comes in, and that is where the artistry lies. Does that make sense? I think it does. I hope it does. But that is what you practice for. That is what the hours you put in. Now, I've heard my man Doc Severinsen say many times, if I miss a day of practice, I know. If I miss 2 days of practice, everybody in the band knows. If I miss 3 days of practice, everybody knows. Now, I'm not doubting in one bit that Doc's chops are set up that way. And maybe that may be the case. It does not have to be the case. Why? Doc, no doubt about it, used very, very, very tight chops. He talked about that incessantly. That's what he learned from Benny Baker hundreds of years ago, and he has used it ever since. And if you are using tension in the corners, yes, I don't doubt for a minute you would be having conniptions over not practicing. But the fact that we do not use tension in the lips, we do not use tension in the lips, that is what we don't have to practice for because there's nothing to keep in shape. It basically lies dormant. Now, if I went out in the cold and got extremely chapped and cut lips, that would be more of a problem than not practicing. Now, I spend every single summer, I spend at least a week up in Maine at the beach house, okay? And if I lie out for too much, and I do all the time, I take the chair out, and geez, I just lie back and fall asleep many times, and I get sunburned lips. And sometimes they're very, very cracked and dry. That would throw me for a loop because they don't vibrate. It is not because I didn't practice. Okay? That's a different thing altogether. Now, if you think about what I just said, dry and cracked lips, they don't vibrate. It's much harder to vibrate, even if you are relaxed. See what I'm saying? That is where it comes in. It's not the lack of practice for true power. If you are depending on tension, and it's like a beat, if you're depending on that, absolutely you can't miss days. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely 100% you can't miss days. So I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be that way. Now, one of my students months ago said he was on the internet and looking at some guy. I've never heard of him before in my life. I don't even remember the name. But he specifically said if you take 1 day off, it's going to take 10 days of practice to get it back. If you take 2 days off, it's 20 days. And so 10 days of practice for every 1 day you take off. Now, that's just asinine. That makes no sense at all, no physiological sense at all. There is no such thing as an equation somewhere that, 1 day off, you can't play for 10 days. Dumb. Dumb. And I don't know who it is. I don't know who the person is. I don't know. Dumb. Whoever says that, run the other way. Okay? Now, I am not saying if he takes, or she, no, it was a he, if he takes 1 day off, it might take him 10 days to get him back. Okay? Those are some very, very tight chops if that's the case. Okay? I mean, but that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, that's that. It's great to be back, guys. I miss doing these. It just becomes, so much part of my day is like brushing my teeth. It's not like brushing my teeth. I care about you guys more than brushing my teeth. But anyway, it's nice to be back. Anyway, relax the corners. There, with the tongue, is our compression. That tongue, before we ever do anything, before we ever play the note on the trumpet, is one of the strong, if not the, one of the strongest muscles in the body without doing anything else. That is not going to change. See, you don't have to practice to keep that strong. Relax it. And spit buzzing is invaluable. And I spit buzz 4.5 hours one way to Maine and back. It took longer than that because of the snow and whatnot. Guys, I did a lot of spit buzzing. I wasn't counting. I would say half an hour, 45 minutes on and off for each way. Guys, that is invaluable. So the pessimist might say, well, you did practice. Okay, if you want to say that, I did. I did not have the trumpet since my last video. Let's do that. Okay? Anyway, eat and drink fruits and vegetables. Live your life with true power, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Love you all.